the collective. And it's an interesting reading, especially it's kind of interesting. I'm not going to show them because my table is messy, but I have the underlying cards on a different table, and I can see that either you or either you are have been in the work and shadow energy of, well, I'm going to say it's either you or somebody that you're dealing with, but it's a reflection in some way. Like the shadow work, the underall issue is like embracing your power, looking at where you've been a coward or need to be brave, and like messiness, definitely messiness, things that have been done in the dark that need to come into the light, and like finding a purpose, creating kind of sacred space, looking at regret, and also an energy of getting single. And then, last but not least, there's definitely love in the underlying energy of things in the shadow work. But there's also some cards of actual shadow work. And so I wasn't able to name the title as long as I wanted it to be because when you go live, you can only name it so long. But we're in this energy, and I feel like it's very Piscean because it's like I was trying to figure out when it started or when it does start, but it just feels like it just is. And it feels like it's an energy that's more kind of underlying throughout most of the year. And it's this energy of remembering, which is both the literal sense of remembering, like remembering who you are. It's also a shamanic term, remembering, like when you go through a shamanic initiation, whether through a dream or another form of doing it, you typically get dismembered and then you remember yourself. That's funny. The neighbor's dog is going off. And also, oh, that's funny. I meant to say, like, right when I was getting ready to turn on the camera to do this reading, a woodpecker decided to come and peck on my, my RV roof. And that's a reading. I did a video on what the meaning of woodpecker feathers mean, and it's very relevant. It's funny because somebody just commented on that video that I did. It's one of the first ones I did on this channel, and also woodpeckers are they are nature's drummers. They are connected to thunder beings. And typically when they come, it means messages are coming. And it's funny because look at this card. Unsent messages, right? But it means messages are coming. It means to listen, and it also means to just generally be aware of your surroundings and to recognize that there are things that are under the surface that we can't always see, but they're still happening. Sort of like the bugs that woodpeckers will, go at. That's why they're woodpeckers. Like they go for things that are under the surface that others cannot see or hear. And so kind of keep that energy in mind while you're thinking about this, but it's also like in this great remembering energy, like we're remembering who we are. We're remembering our power. We're remembering if you're a twin flame or you have somebody that you've been in a love connection with, especially with the underlying energy in here, like remembering who they are and them remembering who they are. Like just like we went through, I did some readings on the Great Unraveling, and even before that, we went through the Karmic Carnival. And right now, we're kind of in another Karmic Carnival, but I'm not sure what to call it because it's not quite the same thing. We've got more of the distortion energy, that kind of funhouse mirrors thing, though it's a little different. I coined it on my Facebook page as kind of more like Jurassic Park, um, though it's not as scary as that. Though it's kind of a theme park of like distorted creations of things that we thought would be safe and weren't, and also but there's good stuff in it too. There's treasures, there's things to behold, there's historic things happening, there's all sorts of stuff going on. And when you make it through it, you'll be stronger on the other end no matter what. um, but it's part of that is helping us get to this remembering energy. Okay, so let's look at the cards that we have right out here. I think that I'm going to start here with the homophone cards. And I find it interesting. So we've got peace in reverse and eight. And messiness has been a fairly big theme lately, for at least in my life. And so, I mean, you see on this, like, eight is, that shows the baby ate something, but look at him, he's messy, right? And, like, it's fun to get messy sometimes, but you want to get cleaned up, and it may be that you feel like you're being seen as messy, or you feel like you're messy, or somebody may have said you're messy, or you may have called somebody else messy. And also, it doesn't. I want to point out that in the overall reading I did for Pisces season, was the 8, and so it's fun. It's there, and so I think kind of on the underside of things is a desire for like pleasure, for games, for knowing, and the just the number 8 is relevant too, and also as an infinity card, and I do feel like this is also a call to connect with our inner children, and it's a part of remembering who we are, and it's also a bit of kind of nurturing energy, I think, which look what we have right here, earth, nurture, right? And I think what it is that, it's funny, I think what it is really is that there's been a lack of peace in some sort of situation. So this might be how you can kind of tell what this reading is picking up on for you, is that there's been some sort of a lack of peace in a situation, especially one that really has to do with both your inner child, their inner child, and children specifically. If you have children with somebody, it could be them. It could be, your kid's mom or dad, or some relation to that. And there's been a lack of peace in it, and it feels like this energy, the desire is for peace. The desire is to well, let's look at this card, to get back to a situation of nurturing. And because this is the earth card too, to get back to grounding, and it's significant and connected that right now, at least on the west coast, we are literally entering spring. We're about to hit the spring equinox, and that's when all those seedlings sprout their roots and start to come out. We've got grass here too, which is definitely like a collective community energy, lots of green heart chakra energy, very earthy, kind of being in good soil. And, you can see that she's not quite out of the soil yet, but she's sending up, her blade of grass in all that. And like she's it's kind of a birthing energy. So you may be feeling some energetic kind of contractions as we go through this transition phase between, like you can feel that the seed has broken open and that the roots are there, but it's not sprouted yet. And as the rain comes down and the sun comes out and all the elements, all the that's funny, I was going to say collective components, which is interesting, but I meant cooperative components come together, then we start to see the results of what we've been manifesting, which is kind of coming in. Now, I got in the cards, in the deck that I made, we got unsent messages came out first, and copycat. And the energy that I got when I saw those coming out is, one, there's somebody who has been meaning to talk to you, who has been meaning to confess a whole lot of things. It's funny, if you can see from the way the camera looks, the butterfly eye here is like staring down at this, right? So it may be that those messages that this person has been wanting to send, they have not sent them because they are worried about who may see them. It may be that they've got, if they're in some sort of karmic situationship, it may be that they're worried about that person seeing it. It may be that they're not sure what you will see in it. It may be that they're not sure. It kind of feels like just this unsure energy, like what will happen if I do this? Will I get rejected? Will it go well? And this copycat energy is an energy that I have. It's kind of an imposter energy, but it's also on the good side, like of, imitation is one of the sincerest forms of flattery. And so I kind of get this like dual energy that there in the next 7 days, give or take, it might be revealed to you that somebody has been copying you. Like they've been trying to pretend to be you, or somebody may tell you that, somebody they've been with is just not you, they're just not comparable to you. Or maybe just somebody will just tell you in general that you're just an incomparable person. But also, it feels like somebody that you've been connected with, who's probably been paying far more attention to you than you actually know, is going to kind of follow your guidance. I mean, like if you do YouTube videos like I do and whatnot, it might be that they listen to your guidance. It may be, or it may be that you've already been through, some thick and thin, and they've seen you come out on top like multiple times, or they've seen you get back to happy from really sad places, and they decide, you know what, I know how to do that. I kind of have this strong energy that somebody who's already been kind of putting that into practice, like somebody who used to be in very like dark night of the soul, very narcissistic, very like victim narcissist kind of energy, like, oh, it'll never work for me, there's no point in trying, like I'm just bad and nobody will love me kind of thing. But they've already been doing what you do. If you're, especially if you do focus on like positive psychology kind of things, and like not in a false way, not in like being blissed out pretending that there's no bad, but you typically focus on the positive side of things. You tell yourself good things about yourself. And so, and that's even more of a reason that, like, if you found yourself in stuck in negative energy, get back into that stuff. Because, especially with this in here, like if you have kids too, or if you have someone who is very much needing, kind of reparenting their inner child, then, it may be that they are watching you. And this can also be significant to the energy of like twin flame energy, but also just in general, that we always reflect those who are in our vibration. Like those who are in our vibration, we manifest them because we're in that vibration. And so, like the energy you are in is the energy you call in. And so, if you want a good reflection, if you want, hey, Kentucky John, if you want, well, I mean, just think about what you want. Like, if you want to be in a positive vibe, you want to be successful, you want to feel good, then go towards feeling that. Even if you need to like copy somebody else, like get on and watch Abraham Hicks or Eckhart Tolle or Tony Robbins or whoever your person is that you like, that can get you into a higher vibration. And it may be that doing that, not only does that help this other person get out of their low vibes and stuff, but it can also help them. Like I have a feeling that many of you are going to receive messages that somebody's been meaning to send to you for a while. For some of you, there will be a lot of them, more than you expect. It might be a little overwhelming, and for others of you, it might just be a couple, but they're very specific. They're very thoughtful. And then on a little frozen. Sorry about that. Oh, wait. Turn the camera around. There we go. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the live stuff, and sometimes my phone likes to do weird things. So if I check out, just wait just a second, and I'll be back. In any case, as I was saying, so some of you may get like one or two messages that somebody has been meaning to send to you, and is now getting the courage to do. Especially as one of our underlying cards is the carrot card, kicking, which is a brave act. And others of you may get like an overwhelming amount of unsent messages, maybe from years back, you don't know. And for others of you, it may simply be that somebody is trying to think about what to say to you. And they are thinking about you. If you're not receiving communication from somebody, and they're on your mind a lot, it's likely that you are also on their mind. And whatever this messy situation is that is lacking in peace is what they're thinking about. And like they want to bring a peace to it. They want a truce. They want a nurturing situation. And this could probably be double if you are an earth sign, or they're an earth sign, or one or both of you have strong earth sign placements. Now I'm going to go more for the cards that I a couple of new-ish decks that I just haven't used yet, and so I'm going to go for the cards that I don't need to read for, or I don't need to go into the thing for it. Now we've got the carrot cards, we've got the littermates, and the bare bush. And the littermates card, like I think I'm going to go more towards just keeping these upright. That's part of what the deck says to do, but sometimes reverse is nice, but it actually came out in reverse. And this is card number 26, which would be an 8, which is strength, and also kind of reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. And the litter mates is kind of family, and it's, let me just take a quick peek here. Yeah, it says that it's about family, and it's about like it's about restoration and acceptance. And so, like, and especially, so when I'm looking at this in this sense, like, to have that reversed, and the bear bush is, like, focusing on lack. And it's number four, the emperor. And, like, food is an important sustenance. So it's like resources, like, important resources are lacking and missing. And so what it felt like when I was looking at these is initially, this is something that happened and like is being dealt with, that there's a family situation where there is a lack of resources. It may even be two family situations. If there's somebody that you're dealing with that brought in third parties that involve other families, that could be the reason why there is a messy, unpeaceful situation. And it's like, imagine that, like, you only have one bush of berries, and there's plenty if everybody only eats like two or three. But if everybody just keeps eating and eating and eating, and there's no self-discipline in it, then you have a bare bush and everybody's hungry. And so it kind of reminds me of that. But like, I would liken this more to, there's no space, there's no money, there's no time, and people, and the litter mates, the people closest to them, which could be roommates or karmics with or without family or friends or things like that. They're just taking, 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 taking. It may even be that because of the lack of resources that you are also taking from this person, as in you're taking back your power, you're taking back any resources you gave them. You're not giving them more money or nurturing, which may be why they're it could be that they're missing that energy. And that in the underlying cards, that removes a sense of sacredness and a sense of purpose. And then to see it this way and turning it up this way, for one thing, we've got 8 and 4 is 12, the hanged man position. And it feels like it's coming away from a messy, unpeaceful family situation into the restoration of a family situation, and acceptance that the old situation was not doable. It's not working. All the resources are drying up, and that to continue in whatever that situation was is just going to continue to drain resources, and is just going to continue to be a source of lack and loss. And so it's like, if we go from, let's see, if we do it like this, to where if you start out like this, there's a messy a messy situation with a lot of people that's draining resources, into this, we take that situation and we correct it. We correct that situation, and the choice goes to the positive family situation, where there is some self-discipline, where there's a recognition that instant gratification is not it's not the answer. It brings temporary happiness, and it typically leads to a lot of lack in the end. And again, it's funny, I didn't even mean to do this, but laying these cards out this way, look, like the two eyes on the butterfly, like, it, whoever this person is, it's likely that it's either going to be public, when they do this, like, it's going to be known. And so this may be why they're being quiet. It may be why there are unsent messages right at the moment, because they're trying to make these moves before it gets out, so that they're not stopped, so that, like, whoever it is that has been getting in their way or watching them won't know about it. Or simply, it may be that they want to make sure that they actually succeed before they let you know that it has been done. And I'm seeing 5 and 2, which is 7. So there's, momentum and victory in there. It's very likely that they will succeed. Um, then we have these cards here, which is, we've got, now the first one that came out was ask with sincerity. And then the second one was wake up call. And it's funny because I didn't even realize ask with sincerity was in here. And these cards are pretty obvious about, what they mean. And it's funny to me because what does that fit in very well with, right? Unsent messages. And wake up call, does that fit in with a messy, unpeaceful situation? And nurturing is ask sincerely, right? And so it may be that there's somebody who around you that you've been dealing with who has not been very sincere. They may, I have a strong feeling that they will be making an ask, and it will be sincere. And it is just because of some sort of wake up call. So, like, if you strongly removed your energy from a certain situation, of likely a family situation of some kind, it may be that woke them up. Especially if you're very serious about it and you made very serious moves towards doing that. or you just cut off the energy that you were giving to that situation. Like it may be that you cut off a family situation of some kind. I mean, it's likely going around, and especially the copycat thing. So like let's say that you cut off a family situation, and that created a wake up call for that person who was maybe in a karmic family situation, or they were karmic family members at the time, and that woke them up. And now they want to ask with sincerity. They want to ask something with sincerity, or maybe that you need to ask with sincerity. But I'm really, to be honest, I'm getting the sense that those of you watching this it's more that they're going to ask you something. They're going to ask you something with sincerity, especially if you cut off your energy and stopped reaching out, stopped cleaning up the mess. You allowed the situation to be unpeaceful. Like you stopped holding it up. You allowed the towers to happen. And if you took away a nurturing energy, and you were, think about it too. Like Earth very much connects to it's grounding, so it's anchoring, it's sustenance, it's nurturing, it's a very much a mother energy, it's a birth energy, and if you took that away, that would create a wake up call. And so now there's this energy. It may remain unsent for the next 7 days. I'm going to try to do readings for the individual signs as well. So we'll see. Like it may be for some of you that this wake up call is not quite apparent. It's still in the shadows. It's like it's happening, but you may not see it because of the unsent energies. But it may be, especially like let's say within the last year, you made a move to be single, or to be independent, or and focus on yourself and glow up. It may be that somebody's copying that now. Somebody's taking that step. And somebody's stepping into kind of a receptive feminine energy. But I have a feeling a lot of you reading this are going to get a sincere message from somebody that they've been meaning to send for a while, and now that they've had a wake up call, they really, really mean it. So just be careful with people that reach out. Like, don't necessarily. It might be one of those. It might come across so sincere that you're almost like, this is like too good to be true. Like if it's everything that you have been asking for and wishing for and wanting for, and like it comes to you, you may be like, well, hold up, like what's the trick? Like this can't be. And that's shadow work for you to do in there. Though what I would recommend is pause. Like pause, breathe, and just think about it. You don't have to answer anything right away. You don't have to take action right away. And if it's insincere, you'll know rather quickly. In fact, a lot of times you can tell how sincere someone is and whether or not they're full of red flags by just waiting. Just wait. You don't have to do anything immediately. And just think about it. Like let yourself kind of go through a range of emotions. Like, if your first response is that seems too good to be true, then wait a minute. You may think about it and in pausing go, what, actually this lines up with exactly what I was thinking would happen. It may not be quite in the timing, or it may be even better than expected. And that's been a big sync actually. Closer than you think and better than expected have been two synchronicities that have been coming up a fair amount, along with rainbows, owls, woodpeckers, obviously, and family stuff. And so, like, let yourself feel how you feel in all of it, like before you react. Like that way, when you pause, when you stop to think about things, I'm seeing another seven. You give yourself a chance to respond rather than react. Like just pause and think about it. In fact, funny enough, like if you get some messages from somebody and they seem very, very emotional, maybe they even seem irrational and stuff, like stop for a minute. It may be like if somebody's expressing emotions to you, even if they aren't quite accurate, or they hurt and whatnot, consider how much courage it may have taken from that person to really share those feelings with you. A lot of people do not ever share their negative feelings with other people because they're afraid that if they show that part of themselves, that vulnerability, they'll be rejected. And that's often even scarier than like telling somebody that you love them. Because like telling someone you love them typically gets positive results. Sometimes it doesn't. There's fear of rejection in there. That may be some of this energy too, especially with underlying love energy, and it's masculine love energy in the underlying too. Um, And it's funny, actually, now that I look at it, a lot of the underlying cards are masculine energies, and a lot of the cards we actually have out here are feminine energies. Um, in any case, just consider that if something doesn't, no,